गिरिधारी शिष्य राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतशिमार वामन गोसाई महाराज की विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शतशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद did I do Srila Prabhupada? Sorry. नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शतशिमार भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी महाराज श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शतशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल विष्णु महाभागवत श्रील गोक्षरस बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री रघुनाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपनो गौरीय गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नाम चैतन्य रस ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री नवद्वीप धाम परिक्रमा की जय। श्री नवद्वीप-धाम-महात्म्य की जय। श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर की जय। श्री जीव गोस्वामी पाद की जय। श्रीमान नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। स्वापार्षद श्री गौर हरि की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Ganga Didi, I cannot believe you are awake right now. It must be like 1:30 in the morning for you. Or like 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God. I feel bad that you're up so early. Anyways, yeah, you can totally join later on, like after. Or do you usually wake up this early? Anyways, Dandavat Pranams. And Dandavat Pranams Rohit Radhakrishnan ji and Madhavi Didi, Dandavat Pranam. So just now, like maybe 10 minutes ago, everybody left. All the kirtan parties left to go for Sankalpa. I'm going to go a little bit after though. I'm going to go after this reading and then I'll just do a little Sankalpa on my own. But yeah, today we're going to be reading about, let me see, reading about Ritudvip, also known as Ratupur, Ritudvip, Śrī Radhakund of Vraj. That's chapter 12. And then chapter 13, the history of Śrī Vidyanagar, which is situated within Ritudvip. And then Jannagar, which is also known as Śrī Janudvip, which is the Bhadravan of Vraj. And then we will finish off with chapter 14, which is about Mamagachi, also known as Modadrumadvip, the city of Śrī Ayodhya, situated within Śrī Navadvīpa, and also the Bandhiravan of Vraj. All right. So let me share my screen. One second. Chapter 12, Mangalacharan, Auspicious Invocation. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Chanda Jaya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Deta Jaya Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Bhakta Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Lay Jaya Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya. All glories to Shri Chaitanya Chandra. All glories to Shri Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Shri Advaita Acharya and Shri Gadadhar Pandit. All glories to Srivas and the other devotees. All glories to the house of Shri Jagannath Mishra. All glories to the topmost of holy abodes, Śrī Navadvīpa. Prabhata hoilo ratra bhakta gana tule gatra Shri Gaura Nitai Chande Dake Bhakta Saha Nityananda Chale Bhaji Parananda Champa Hata Paschate Te Rakhe. 1 second, let me just turn on track changes. All the devotees got up early in the morning, lovingly calling out the names of Shri Gaur Nitai. Together with Shri Nityananda Prabhu, they proceeded onwards from Champaghata, blissfully performing kirtan. Shri Dvija Vaninath's cherished desire. Tata hoite Vaninatha chale Nityananda sata Bole heno dina kabe pabo Nitai chandera sange Parikrama kori range Mayapure Prabhu grihe jabo. As they left Champaghata, Shri Vaninath also accompanied Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Shri Vaninath thought, when in my life will that day ever come that I blissfully go on Parikrama with Shri Nitai Chand to the house of Shriman Mahaprabhu in Mayapur? Ratupur, Shri Ritudvip. Dekhite dekhite tabe Ratupura chale sabe Dekishe nagare Rashobha Prabhu Nityananda bole Ritudvipe aile chale E istanayati manolobha. Very soon they arrived in Ratupur. Seeing the beauty of that village, Shri Nityananda Prabhu said, Now we have arrived in the supremely attractive Ritudvip. Shri Nityananda Prabhu describes the beauty of Ritudvip. Vriksha sabanata shira pavana bahaye dhira kusuma putetche charibhita Bhringera jankara rava kusumera gandasava matai patika gana chitta. Here all the trees stand with their heads bowed down. The breeze blows gently and flowers blossom in all directions. The humming of bees and the exquisite fragrance of flowers intoxicate the minds of travelers. Fragrance of flowers intoxicate the mind of travelers coming and going on the path. Shri Nityananda Prabhu, who is himself the tattva of Baladev, becomes absorbed in Shri Baladev's mood. Bolite bolite rai hoilo pagalera prai Bole shinga ano shigragati Vatsagana jai dure kanai nidrita pure Ekono na aise shishumati. As he spoke, Shri Nityananda Prabhu became completely absorbed in ecstatic emotions and began to speak like a madman. Quickly, bring my shingha, an instrument made out of a horn. The calves are going far away. Kanai is still sleeping at home. Childlike Krishna has still not come. Kotai Subaladham, Ami Eka Balaram, Gocharane Jaite na pari. Kanai Kanai Bholi, Dako Chare Mahabali, Lavamare Hatta Dui Chari. Subal, where are you? Sridham, where are you? I cannot go alone to graze. I cannot go alone to graze the cows. Loudly shouting, Kanai, Kanai! The extremely powerful Śrī Nityananda Prabhu began to leap high into the air. I think it should be Subal. The devotees make an appeal at Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. She bhava darshana kori bhakta gana tvara kori nivedaya nitaye rapai. O he Prabhu Nityananda bhai tava gora chandra nahi ebe achena hetai. Seeing his ecstatic emotions, the devotees immediately made a request at his lotus feet. O Nityananda Prabhu, your brother Shri Gaurachandra is here right now. Shri Nityananda Prabhu's state of ecstatic emotions and separation from Shri Gaur. Sanyasa Koriya Hari Gelo Nila Chalapuri. Nila Charo Pari. Amader Kangala Koriya Taha Shuni Nityananda Hoile na Nirananda Kandilote Bhumete Poriya. That Shri Gaur Hari has now taken sannyas and gone to Nilachal, leaving us here like beggars. Hearing this, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu became sad and began to weep and roll on the ground. Ki dukhe kanai bhai, ama sabe chhadi jai, sannyasa hoilo nila chale. E jivana narakhivo, yamunaya jampa divo, Boliya chetana she stale. Boliya chetana she stale. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu said, for what unfortunate purpose has my brother Kanai, Shri Gaur Hari, left us all? And why taken sannyas and gone to Nilachal? Without him, I will not remain alive. I will jump into the Yamuna. Saying this, he fell to the ground unconscious. Nityanande Mahabhav Kori Sabe Anubhav Harinama Sankirtana Kore. Chari Danda Dina Hoila Nityananda Na Uthila Bhakta Saba Gaura Gita Dhare. Sensing Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's powerful ecstatic emotions, everyone started Harinam Sankirtan. When Śrī Nityananda Prabhu did not arise, even after about 4 dandas, 1 hour and 36 minutes, all the devotees began to sing the name of Shri Gaura. Ritudip Shri Radha Kunda of Raj. Let me see who else has joined. Haribol, Manjari Didi, no problem at all. Huh. One second, where am I? Hello. Oh yeah, we're reading on a Word document. Ritudip, Shri Radha Kunda Vraj. Gaurangera nama shuni nitai ute amani bole e Radha Kundastan. Heta bhakta sange kori aparane gora hari koritena kirtana vidhana. Hearing the name of Śrī Gaur Hari, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu got up and said, "This is Radhakund. Śrī Gaur Hari used to perform kirtan here in the afternoon with his devotees." Darshan of Śrī Shyamakund in Navadvīpa, which is non-different from Rajmandal. Deko Shyamakunda Shobha Jagajana Mana Loba Saki Gana Kunja Nana Stane Heta Aparane Gora Sankirtana Hoye Bhora Tushilena Sabe Prema Dane. Behold the beauty of Shyamakund, which attracts the minds of people throughout the universe. At the many nearby places are the groves of the Sakis. Śrī Gaur Hari used to come here at midday. Absorbed in chanting the holy names, he would make everyone joyful by distributing prem to them. The supreme excellence of Śrī Ritudvīpa, Radhakund, and the results obtained from residing there. Estana samana bhai, tri jagate nahi pai, bhaktera bhajana stana jano. Hetai basati jar, prema dhana labhatar, Shushritala hoy tar pran. I'm not sure if this should be Jano. Oh brother, there's no place like this in the three worlds. Here devotees worship the Supreme Lord. A person who resides here attains the treasure of prem. He attains the treasure of prem, and his heart is thus soothed. And you know, this is the place where our dear Hare Krishna Prabhu, the brahmachari who sings very sweetly, who's in charge of the Delhi Mat, that's where he was born, and his family still lives there. They're very fixed up devotees. And if you ever on Parikramā at Ritudvīpa, there's a little secret. You can find his house. It's not so far away from where everybody speaks, and you can get special prasad. They feed everybody really nice lunch. Not everybody though, because it'd be too much for them to feed the whole Parikramā, but yeah. But whoever goes there, they do feed. Big feast. Se dina se stane thaki, Śrī Gauranga nama daki, preme magna sarva bhakta gana. Ritudvīpa sabe bosi, bhaje Śrī Chaitanya shashi, ratra dina korilo japana. That day, all the devotees stayed in that place, continuously chanting Śrī Gauranga Mahaprabhu's name and becoming drowned in prem. They spent the entire day and night in Ritudvīpa, worshipping Śrī Chaitanya Chandra. Nachite nachite tabe Nityananda chale jabe. Chale jabe. Oh, I think that should be a long A. Or no, it might be when. I'll have to check that. Shri Vidyanagare Upanita Vidyanagare Rashobha Muni Jana Manolobha Bhakta Gana Deki Prapulita. I think it's long A. It's not saying when. Oh, when the devotees arrived? Yeah, maybe it is. Okay, I think it's right. The author's prayer for his sorry, did I read this already? I'm so spaced out. The next day, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu arrived in Śrī Vidyanagar, dancing all the way. When the devotees saw Vidyanagar's beauty, which attracts even the minds of the sages, they all experienced the blossoming of great joy. The author's prayer for his desired service. Nitai janava pada je janara susampara she Bhaktivinoda akinchana Nadiya Mahatma Gai Dhori Bhakta Jana Pai Jache Matra Krishna Bhakti Dhan. The lotus feet of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu and Śrī Janavadevi are the only treasure of this destitute Bhaktivinoda. Holding the lotus feet of the devotees, he sings this glorification of Nadia and begs only to have the wealth of Shri Krishna Bhakti. Thus ends chapter 12. Okay, now we begin chapter 13. That's a really short chapter, huh? Mangalacharan, auspicious invocation. Jaya Gora Nityananda Ad... Oh wait, no, sorry, let me try this again. Jaya Gora Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivasa Śrī Navadvīpa-Kirtana Sagar. All glories to Śrī Gaur Hari. All glories to Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Śrī Advaita Acharya Prabhu. All glories to Śrī Gadadhar Pandit. All glories to Shivas Pandit. All glories to Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma, the ocean of Kirtan. I really love how each chapter begins with the Panchatattva in a different way. I once, a long time ago, I wrote down all these different versions of the Panchatattva because I thought that would be like a fun thing to do in the middle of Kirtan, is just like sing a different kind of Panchatattva. I never did that though, but yeah, okay. The history of Śrī Vidyanagar, situated within the Ritudvīpa. Śrī Vidyanagare Asi Nityananda Rai Vidyanagare Ratata Śrī Jive Shikai. Arriving in Śrī Vidyanagar, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu began to explain the real nature of that place to Śrī Jiva. Nitya-dhama Navadvipa Pralaya Samaye Ashtadala Parmarupe Ṭhākeshu Dahoye. Even at the time of annihilation, this eternal Dham Śrī Navadvīpa, which has the form of an 8-petaled lotus flower, remains pure. And there's a footnote here. Just as a lotus remains pure even in mud, similarly, Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma remains pure even at the time of annihilation. Sarva avatara ar dhanya jiva jata kamalera ekadeshe thake koto shata. All the incarnations of Sri Bhagavan and innumerable fortunate living entities stay in one section of that lotus. Who's trying to call me? Is that Pradyumna Prabhu? Probably. How did I guess? Alright. I'm just going to let him know that I'm reading right now, even though he is in our group. Okay. All the incarnations of Sri Bhagavan and innumerable fortunate living entities stay in one section of that lotus. At the time of devastation, the Vedas come to Vidyanagar carried by Bhagavan Sri Matsya. Oh, cool. Just like we finished off with in our Śrīmad Bhagavatam readings. Wait, I wonder why it's saying that all the incarnations of Sri Bhagavan and innumerable fortunate living entities stay in one section of that lotus. They all stay in one section of Navadvīpa. They don't like stay all throughout it. Okay, so that Ritudvīpa antargata e vidyanagare Matsarupi Bhagavan sarva vedadhare. In his Matsya incarnation, the Lord brought the Vedas to this Vidyanagar, which is situated within Ritudvīpa. The reason behind the name Vidyanagar. Sarva Vidya Thake Veda Ashraya Koriya Shri Vidyanagarānaṁ e sthane diya. Because all kinds of knowledge, Vidya, reside here under the shelter of the Vedas, the place has become famous by the name Vidyanagar. Brahma, the creator and the grandfather of the whole world, becomes afraid. Puna jabe shrishti mukhe Brahma mahashai ati bhita hana deki sakala pralay. When Brahma again became inclined to create, he became fearful to see the annihilation. By the mercy of Shuddha Saraswati, Shri Brahma prays to the Supreme Lord. She kale Prabhu kripa hoy tar prati e sthana pe bhagavane kore stuti. Seeing Brahma fearful, the Supreme Lord bestowed mercy upon him. As a result, Brahma was able to offer prayers to him at this very place. Mukha kuli barakale Devi Saraswati Brahma jiva hoite janme ati rupavati. As soon as Brahma opened his mouth to offer prayers, the most beautiful Saraswati Devi appeared on his tongue. Saraswati Shakti peye Deva Chaturmukh Shri Krishna korena stava peye boro sukh. By the potency bestowed by Saraswati Devi, the four-headed Brahma, overjoyed, offered prayers to Shri Krishna. Maya Devi resides in the 14 worlds at the beginning of creation. Shrishti jabe hoy Maya sarvadik gheri virajara pare thake gonatraya dhori. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, at the time of creation, Maya Devi resides in the material with the three modes of material nature, ignorance, passion, and goodness, on the other side of the Viraja river. The sages who become anguished to see the suffering of others deliver true knowledge to the material world, which is seized by ignorance. Maya prakashita vishve vidyara prakash kore rishi gana tabe koriya prayas. The sages endeavor untiringly to reveal true knowledge within this universe, which is manifested by Maya. Eto sarada pita koriya ashray rishigana kore e avidyara parajay. Taking shelter of this Sharada pit, the abode of Saraswati Devi, the sages defeat ignorance. The sages broadcast the 64 kinds of knowledge. Choshati vidyara pata loye rishigan dharatale stane stane kore vigyapan. When they have learned the 64 kinds of knowledge, the sages preach that knowledge throughout the world. Jai Jai Rishi Jai Jai Vidya Kore Adhyayan E Pite She Sabar Sthana Anukshan. In this place, the sages can study any type of knowledge according to their respective desires. The appearance place of the Ramayana. Shri Valmiki Kavya Rasa E Sthane Pai Narada Kripayate Ho Ailo Hetai. Hey, whoa, whoops, I already can type this. Sorry. By the mercy of Shri Narad, Shri Valmiki came here and received a taste for transcendental poetry like the poetry of the Ramayana, the appearance place of the Ayurveda and Dhanurvidya. Sorry guys, I totally spaced out. Where are we? Okay. Okay, sorry. The appearance place of the Ayurveda and Dhanurvidya. Dhanvantari asi heta Ayurveda pai Vishvamitra adi Dhanurvidya shiki jai. At this place, Dhanvantari receives the Ayurveda, and Vishwamitra and others learned Dhanurvidya, the arts of archery. The appearance place of Vedic mantras and tantras. Shaunakadi Rishigan Pore Veda mantra Deva Deva Mahadeva Alochaya Tantra. The sages headed by Shaunak Rishi also learned how to recite the Vedic mantras. The Lord of the demigods, Mahadev, expounded Tantra here, the appearance place of the four Vedas. Brahmachari mukha hoite Veda chatushtai Rishi gana prarthanaya korilo udoy. At this place, on the request of the sages, Brahma manifested the four Vedas from his four mouths, the appearance place of Sankhya and Nyaya Tarka. Oops, that's a mistake. Kapila Rachilo Sankhya Estane Bosi Nyaya Tarka Prakashilo Shri Gautama Rishi. Residing at this place, Kapila created Sankhya philosophy, and Shri Gautama Rishi manifested Nyaya, logic, and Tarka, argument, the appearance place of Vaisheshika and Yoga Shastra. Vaisheshika Prakashila Kanbhuka Muni Patanjali Yoga Shastra Prakashe Apani. At this place, the sage Kanada manifested Vaisheshika philosophy, and Patanjali manifested Yoga Shastra, the appearance place of Mimamsa Shastra, as well as other scriptures headed by the Puranas. Jaimini Mimamsa Shastra Korilo Prakash Puranadi Prakashila Rishi Veda Vyas. Jaimini Rishi manifested Mimamsa Shastra, Purva Mimamsa, and Shri Ved Vyas manifested the Puranas and other scriptures. Here, sorry. The appearance place of the Pancharatra. Pancharatra Naradadi Rishi Panchajana Prakashiya Jiva Gane Shikaya Sadhana. The five sages headed by Narad manifested the Pancharatra here to teach the living entities about sadhana, the practice of devotional service. The worship of Sri Gauranga by the Upanishads. E upavane sarva upanishadagan bahukala Sri Gauranga kore aradhan. The Upanishads stayed in this forest grove and worshipped Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu for a long time. Sri Gaur Hari bestows mercy upon the Upanishads. Alakshe Shri Gaura Hari se sabe kohilo Nirakara buddhi tava hridaya dushilo. Remaining concealed from their vision, Shri Gaur Hari told them, your hearts are polluted by understanding Bhagavan to be formless, Nirakar. Tumi sabe shruti rupe more na paibe Amara parshada rupe jabe janma lobe Prakata lilaya tabe dekhibe amai Mama guna kirtana koribe ubharai. You will not attain me in your form as Shrutis, but when you take birth as my associates, you will witness my manifest pastimes. Then you both, the Upanishads and the Shrutis, will glorify me. Taha shuni shruti gani stabda hoya gopane achilo heta kala apekhiya. Hearing this, the Shrutis became stunned and secretly remained in this place, waiting for the age of Kali to come. E dhanya Kali Yuga Sarva Yuga Sar Jahate hoilo Shri Gauranga avatar. This blessed Kali Yuga is the essence of all other ages, because Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared in this age. Brihaspati appears as Shri Vasudeva Sarvabhauma in Shri Vidyanagar. Vidyalila kori bena Gauranga Sundar Gana Saha Brihaspati Janme Athapar. Knowing that Shri Gauranga Sundar would perform his scholastic pastimes, his Vidya Lila at this place, Brihaspati took birth here along with his associates. Vasudeva Sarvabhauma She Brihaspati Gaurange Tushite Jatna Korilena Ati. Shri Vasudeva Sarvabhauma is himself Brihaspati. He tried his utmost to please Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Brihaspati becomes sad. Prabhu Mara Navadvipe Shri Vidya Vilas Kori Bena Jani Mane Hoya Udas. Shri Brihaspati knew that his Lord would enact his scholastic pastimes on this earth in Navadvip. Therefore, thinking, why do I have to stay in Swarga? He became dejected. Brihaspati abandons insignificant heavenly pleasures. Indra Sabha Parihari Nija Ganaloye Janmilena Stane Stane Anandita Hoye. He abandoned the assembly of Indra and gladly took birth near Vidyanagar. His associates also took birth in many places nearby. Shri Vasudeva Sarvabhauma propagates knowledge. E Vidyanagarite Kori Vidyalay Vidya Prachari Sarvabhauma Mahashai. Sarvabhauma Mahashai opened a school here in Vidyanagar and began teaching. Pache Vidya Jale Dube Harai Gauranga E Mane Kori Eka Kori Lena Ranga. Later on, he began to think, I may lose Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu if I become entangled in the network of dry speculative knowledge. For this reason, he performed a particular pastime. Shri Sarvabhauma departs for Nilachal before Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's advent. Nija Shishya Gane Raki Nadia Nagare Gaur Janma Purve Teho Gela Deshantare. Before the advent of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he left his students in Nadia and went to another place. Shri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's firm faith. Mane bhabe jadi ami hoy goradas kripa kori more prabhu loi ben apash. He thought, if I am a servant of Shri Gaur Hari, he will certainly bestow his mercy upon me and give me his association. Oh, and just so you know, I make it a ba when it's talking about and thinking. If it's talking about bhav, like as in feeling, then I make it a v. Ei boli sarvabhauma jaya nilachal mayavara shastra tata korilo prabal. Thinking like this, he went to Nilachal and spread the influence of scriptures that delineate Mayavad philosophy. Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's scholastic pastimes. Heta Prabhu Gora Chandra Shri Vidya Vilase Sarvabhauma Shishya Gane Jine Parihase. Here Shri Gaurachandra, on the pretense of performing scholastic pastimes, jokingly, that is, easily defeated the students of Shri Sarvabhauma. Oh, so Prabhu already had some kind of connection with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya through his students before he went to Puri. Naya Panki Kori Prabhu Sakale Harai Kabo Vidyanagarete Aise Gorarai. Sometimes Śrī Gaur Hari came to Vidyanagar and defeated everyone with the logic of his arguments. Adhyapaka Gana Ar Paruyara Gan Parajita Hoye Sabe Kore Palayan. Teachers and students alike were defeated by Śrī Gaur Hari and ran away. The results of hearing about Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Vidya Vilas. Gaurangera Vidya Lila Apurva Katan Avidya Charai Tar Jai Kore Shravan. Whoever hears about the amazing Vidya of Śrī Gauranga Mahaprabhu is freed of all ignorance. Shuni Jiva Premanande She Vedanagare Vyasapite Garagari Jai Prema Bhare. When Śrī Jiva heard about Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's pastimes of scholarship, the bliss of prema overwhelmed him, and he rolled about in the dust of Vidyapit in Vedanagar, another name for Vidyanagar. Śrī Jiva Gosvāmī's doubt. Nityananda Shri Charane Kore Nivedan Amara Sangshay Cheda Koroho Ekon. Śrī Jiva made a request at the lotus feet of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. O Lord, please clear this doubt of mine. Sankhya Vidya Tarka Vidya Amangalamoy Kemone Enitya Dhame Se Sakala Roy. The knowledge of Sankhya and logic are inauspicious. How can they have a place in this eternal Dham? Śrī Nityananda Prabhu's answer. Shuni Prabhu Nityananda Jive Deya Kolam Adara Koriya Bole Hari Hari Bol. Hearing this, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu embraced Śrī Jiva and answered his question, chanting Hari Bol with great affection. In Śrī Vidyanagar, each and every kind of scholastic knowledge is a maidservant of Bhakti Devi. Prabhura Pavitra Dhame Nahi Amangal Tarka Sankhya Swatana He Hetaya Prabhal Bhaktira Adhina Saba Bhakti Dasya Kore Karma Doshe Dushta Jane Viparyaya Dhare. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, no inauspiciousness can exist in this pure holy abode of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. Sankhya and logic by themselves are devoid of potency here. They are dependent on bhakti and serve bhakti. People who have become wicked by their sinful acts turn everything upside down. Bhakti Mahadevi Heta Ar Sabadas Sakale Korai Bhakti Devira Prakash. Here, Bhakti is the supreme goddess, and all others are her servants. The purpose of logic, yoga, sankhya, and others is to illuminate Bhakti. Navadvīpa is the abode of Navada Bhakti. Navadvipe Navavida Bhakti Adhishtan Bhakti Re Sevai Sada Karma Argyan. Navadvīpa is the abode of the 9 limbs of devotional service, Navada Bhakti. Here, karma and jnana are always serving Bhakti. Bahir Mukha Jane Shastra Deya Dushtamati Shishta Jane She Shastra Deya Krishna Rati. To those averse to Bhagavan, the scriptures give a wicked intelligence, but to those who are virtuous, they bestow the good intelligence of attachment to Sri Krishna. Prodamaya, the presiding goddess of Vidyanagar. Prodamaya Goradasi Adishtatri Devi Sarva Yuge E Stane Thake Gora Sevi. Prodamaya is a maidservant of Śrī Gaur and the presiding deity of this place. She resides here throughout each and every yuga and serves Sri Gaur Hari, the result of being hostile to the Vaishnavas. Ati karma dosha jar Vaishnavete dvesh, tare andha kori de anaklesh. In her form as Mahamaya, Prodamaya makes the sinful offenders of Vaishnavas blind in regard to true knowledge and gives them various types of miseries. Sarva papa sarva karma heta hoye koi, Prodamaya vidya rupe kore karma loy. In her form of knowledge, Shuddha Saraswati Prodamaya destroys all sins and results of fruitive actions. Kintu jadi Shri Vaishnave aparadha thake, tabe dur kore tare karmera vipake. But if a person offends Vaishnavas, she keeps him far away from her because of his aparad. Although the offender lives in the dham, he cannot attain the wealth of prem. Vidya pori nadiyaya sadurjan, kabhu nahi paye Krishna pade premadhan. Such wicked persons may acquire knowledge in Nadia, but they will never attain the treasure of prem, Shri Krishna's lotus feet. Vidyara avidya labha korishe sava, nahi deke Shri Gauranga Nadiya Vaibhava. Instead of knowledge, such persons acquire only ignorance. They can never perceive the magnificence of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Nadiya. Only ignorance, the shadow of knowledge, is inauspicious. Ataeva vidya nahe amangalamay, vidyara avidya chaya amangala hoy. Therefore, knowledge, vidya, can never be inauspicious. Only ignorance, avidya, the shadow of knowledge, is inauspicious. Shri Nityananda Prabhu's words as a merciful blessing to Shri Jiva. E sabas puri be jiva gauranga kripai, likhibe apana shastre prabhura ichai. O Jiva, by Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mercy, all these truths, all these tattvas will be revealed in your heart. Later, according to Mahaprabhu's desire, you will describe these in your scriptures. Tomar dvara kori bena shastra parakash, ebe chalo jai mora janura avas. Śrīmad Mahaprabhu will reveal scriptures through you. Now let us go to the residence of Sri Janu Muni. Oh my God, I need to do some serious praying when I go to Vidyanagar to the Dham and Jiva Gosvāmī so that I can understand the Harinama Mritya Vyakaran classes that I'm in. It's really difficult. Jan Nagar, Shri Janadip, which is the Bhadravan of Vraj. Bolite bolite sabe Jan Nagar jai, Janu tapovana shobha deki bare pai. Speaking in this way, they all reached Jan Nagar and gazed at the beauty of Janu Muni's hermitage. Nityananda bole e Janu dipanam, Bhadravana name khyata manohara dham. Shri Nityananda said, this supremely enchanting place is called Janudvip. It is the famous Bhadravan of Vrindavan, Shri Janu Muni's place of austerities. Estane Janu Muni tapa acharilo, suvarna pagora darshana korilo. At this place, Janu Muni underwent austerities and received darshan of Shri Gaura's golden form. Heta Janu Muni boise, sandhya kori bare, bhagirati bege kosha kushi pore dhare. Once, when Janamuni was chanting his prayers at twilight, his Achman cup suddenly fell into the strong current of Bhagirathi. The reason for Sri Janamuni swallowing Ganga's water. Dhare pori koshakushi bhasiya chalilo gandushe gangara jal savapana koilo Bhagirathi mane bhabe kota ganga gelo vivala hoiya tabe bhabite lagilo. Janamuni pana koilo saba ganga jal jani Bhagirata mane hoilo bikal. Seeing his Achman cup swept away in the river Bhagirati's current, Janamuni swallowed her entire water in just one gulp. When King Bhagirat could not see the Bhagavati Ganga following him, he became most anxious. Where has Ganga gone? He pondered in distress. Thinking like this, he discovered that Janamuni had swallowed the entire current, and thus Bhagirata became most aggrieved. King Bhagirat worships Sri Janamuni. Koto dina muni re pujilo mahadir anga vidariya Ganga korilo bahir. King Bhagirat worshipped Janamuni patiently for several days. Satisfied by his worship, Janamuni then pierced one of his limbs and released Ganga. The reason for Sri Ganga Devi's other name, Janavi. She hoite Janavi hoilo namatar, Janavi boliya dake sakala sangsar. From then on, people started calling Ganga by the name Janavi, the daughter of Janamuni. Shri Bhishma, the son of Ganga, arrives at the cottage of his maternal grandfather, Shri Janamuni. Koto dina pore heta Gangara nandan, Bhishma deva koilo mata mahadarashan. A long time after this incident, Ganga's son, Shri Bhishma Dev, came to his maternal grandfather, Shri Janamuni, at this place. Bhishmere adara kore Janu Mahashai, Bahudine rakhe tare apana alai. Shri Janu Mahashai showed much affection to Shri Bhishma and kept him at his cottage for many days. Shri Janamuni instructs Bhishma about dharma. Janustane Bhishma dharma shikhilo apar, Yudhisthire shiksha dilo she dharma sar. Bhishma Dev received unsurpassed teachings on the topmost dharma from Janamuni. The essence of these teachings he in turn conveyed to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Bhishma receives the treasure of bhakti as a result of staying in Navadvip, being devoid of desires other than for bhakti. Navadvipa-thaki Bhishma pailo bhakti dhan, Vaishnava madhete Bhishma hoilo ganan. By staying in Navadvip, Bhishma attained the wealth of bhakti. Henceforth, he was counted amongst the prominent Vaishnavas. Ataiva Janudvipa parama pavan, hetavasa kore sada bhagyavan jan. Janudvip is therefore most sacred. Only fortunate persons reside here. She dina Janudvipe nityananda rai, Bhaktagana saharahe bhaktera alai. That day, Shri Nityananda Prabhu and all the devotees stayed in one devotee's house in Janudvip. Paradina prate prabhu loye bhaktagan, modadrume dvipe tabe korilo gaman. The next morning, Shri Nityananda Prabhu, together with the devotees, proceeded towards Modadrumadvip. The author's prayers for his desired service. Janavanitai para jahara garima, e Bhaktivinoda gai, nadia mahima. Bhaktivinoda, whose pride is the lotus feet of Janava Devi and Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, is singing the glories of Nadia. Thus ends chapter 13. One second, I just want to see, did I also, one second. Okay, I was thinking, why does it show that we're not even halfway through? It's because I also put 15 in here. Let me just delete 15. Actually, what am I doing? There. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. There. Here's chapter 15. I just need to move this. Then we can see how much more we have left. What the heck happened? There, okay. Okay, 1 second, let me just make a new. Oh shoot, it's on track changes. Accepts change. Okay. All right, sorry guys. One. Okay. Okay. Oops. Chapter 14, Mangalacharan, auspicious invocation. Jaya Jaya Pancha Tattvatmaka Gora Hari, Jaya Jaya Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya. Oh, Dandavat Pranams, Pradyumna Prabhu, and Manjari Didi. Hari Bol. Okay. Jaya Pancha Tattvatmaka Gora Hari. I just read that. Jai Jai Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya. All glories to Shri Gaur Hari, who manifested as the Panchatattva. All glories to the topmost holy abode, Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma. Mamgachi, Modadrumadvīpa, the city of Shri Ayodhya situated within Śrī Navadvīpa. Mamagachi grame giya Nityananda Rai, bole e Modadruma Ayodhya hetai. When they arrived in the village of Mamgachi, Śrī Nityananda Prabhu said, "This is Modadrumadvīp. Ayodhya is present here." During their exile to the forest, Lord Śrī Ramachandra arrived at this place with Sita Devi and Lakshmana. Purva kalpe jab Rama hoilo vanavasi, Lakshmana janaki loye e stane asi, Mahavata vriksha tale kutira bandhiya, koto dinavasa koilo anandita hoya. In a previous kalpa, when Lord Śrī Ramachandra was in exile in the forest, he came to this place, Modadrumadvīp, with Lakshman and Janaki. They built a cottage underneath a large banyan tree and blissfully resided here for many days. Śrī Ramachandra smiles gently. Navadvipa Prabha Rama Kori Darashana, Alpa Alpa Hasya Kore Śrī Raghunandana. Seeing the beauty of Śrī Navadvīpa, Raghunandan, Śrī Ramachandra smiled gently. Ki badurva dala shama rupa manohar, Rajivalochana haste dhanuka sundar. Aha! How mesmerizing was his darkish form, resembling the color of newly sprouting durva grass. His eyes were like lotuses, and in his hands was a beautiful bow. Brahmachari vesha shire jata shobha kore, darshane sakala prani gana mana hare. Matted locks adorned his head, and his brahmachari dress stole the hearts of all. Shri Sita Devi inquires about the reason for Sri Ramachandra's smile. Hasi hasi mukha deki janaki thokon, jigyase Shri Rame Devi hasera karan. Seeing Sri Ramachandra smiling, Shri Janaki asked what was making him smile. Shri Ramachandra discloses a secret. Rama bole shuno Sita Janaki Nandini, ati gopaniya eka acheto kahini. Shri Ramachandra replied, "Listen, O Sita, daughter of King Janak. I will now narrate to you a most confidential episode." Shri Ramachandra indicates the incarnation of Shri Gaur. Dhanya kali jabe hoy e nadi ai, pita varna rupa mora dekhi bare pai. When the blessed Kali Yuga comes, I will assume a golden form and appear here in not a Nadia, an indication of the future mother and father of the incarnation of Shri Gaur. Jagannatha Mishra grihe Shri Shachi udare, Gauranga rupete janma labhibo satvare. In the house of Jagannath Mishra, I will appear from Shri Shachi Devi's womb in the form of Gauranga. Balya lila dekhibe je saba bhagyavan, goribo se sabe ami para premadan. I will bestow the highest divine love, prem, upon those fortunes who will those fortunate persons who will behold my childhood pastimes. An indication of scholastic pastimes and Nam Sankirtan. Goribo she kale priye vidyara vilas, Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya ami goribo prakash. At that time, O beloved, I will perform pastimes of studying and teaching, and I will reveal the glories of the holy name. An indication of sannyas. Sannyasa koriya ami jabo nila chale, Kandibe janani Shriya vadhulo ye kole. I will accept sannyas and go to Nilachal. My mother will take her daughter-in-law on her lap and weep. Shri Sita Devi asks about the necessity of taking sannyas in the incarnation of Shri Gaur. Ekata shuni Sita bolena vachan, janani kandabe keno. Rajiva lochan, sanyasa koribe keno, chariya grihini, patni dukkha diya sukha, ki banahi jani. Sorry, I need to check this. I need to check if it's actually a long A, kandabe, or if it's short A. Okay. Sanyasa korivo keno chariya grihini patni dukkha diya sukha kiba nahi jani. Hearing these words of Sri Ramachandra, Shri Sita Devi asked, "O lotus-eyed one, why will you make your mother cry? Why will you leave your wife and take sannyas? What happiness will you get by causing her such grief?" Sri Ramachandra's reply, "Shri Rama bolena priye tumi sab jano, jivera shikhate ebe hoilo agyanam." Sri Ramachandra replied, "O beloved, you know everything. In order to instruct the living entities, you are acting as if ignorant." Tasting Prem Bhakti in two ways. Amate je prema bhakti tar ashvadan, dui mate hoy sita shuno ho bachan. Listen, O Sita, loving devotion for me is relished in two ways, meeting and separation. Amara sangyoge sukha sambhoga bolai, amara viyoge sukha vipralamba hoy. Happiness that arises from union with me is known as sambhog, and that which arises out of separation from me is called vipralamba. relishing Vipralamba Ras by the Lord's mercy. Bhakta Mora Nitya Sangi Sambhoga Vanchai Mama Kripa Vashetar Vipralamba Hoy. Although my eternal devotees always sambhog, by my mercy they also relish Vipralamba. Even the sorrow of separation causes supreme happiness. Vipralambe dukaje amara karan parama ananda taha jane bhaktajan Vipralamba shesh jabe sambhoga uday purvapeksha koti guna sukata he hoy. The bhaktas know that the distress that arises from separation from Sri Krishna is, in reality, the most exalted bliss. This is because one derives millions of times greater happiness from the meeting after Vipralamba than the happiness of a meeting prior to Vipralamba. Sheto sukera heto amara viched Svikara koroho tumi bole chari ved. Separation from me also yields happiness. Therefore, to attain that happiness, you also accept separation from me. This is described in the 4 Vedas. Mother Kaushalya is indeed Shri Shachi Devi. Shri Gauranga Avatare Kaushalya Janani Shachi Devi Aditi Vedete Jara Dhwani. Mother Kaushalya, whom the Vedas describe to be Aditi, will be known by the name Shri Shachi Devi in my incarnation as Shri Gaur. Bhagavati Shri Sita is Vishnu Priya in Gaur Lila. Tumi Vishnu Priya Rupe Sevi Be Amare Vichede Shri Gaura Murti Kori Be Prachare. You will serve me as Vishnu Priya Devi, and out of separation from me, you will manifest a golden deity of me. Indication of a pastime after the exile in the forest. Tomara vichede kabu swarna sita kori bhajibo tomare ami ayodhya nagari. In this incarnation of Sri Ram, I, in separation from you, will have a golden Sita made, and I will worship you in the city of Ayodhya. The reason for Shri Vishnu Priya Devi's worship of the deity of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Taravini mae tumi nadiya nagare Gauranga pratima kori pujibe amare. You, in turn, will make a deity of Shri Gauranga and worship me in this city of Nadia. E Gura Kata Sita Gopaniya Ati Lokete Prakasha Nahi Habe Samprati. O Sita, this matter is highly confidential and should not yet be disclosed in the presence of people in general. In comparison with Ayodhya and other places, Navadvīpa is most dear to the Supreme Lord. E Navadvīpa mor boro priyastan Ayodhyadi nahi hoy ihara saman. This place named Navadvīpa is most dear to me. Ayodhya and other places can never be equal to it. E Rama Vata Vriksha Kali Agamane Adarshana hoy Sita Rabe Sangopane. O Sita, upon the arrival of Kali Yuga, this tree, Ramavat, will disappear from the vision of ordinary people and remain here in a hidden form. Navadvīpa, the land that is marked with Sri Rama's footprints. E Rupe Rama Sita Lakshmana Sahita E Stane Kotodina Hoy Avastita Dandaka Aranye Gela Karya Sadhi Bare Ramera Kutira Stana Pao Deki Bare. In this way, Sri Ramachandra resided here with Sri Sita and Lakshman for some time. Thereafter, they left for Dandakaranya to fulfill the purpose of their pastimes. O Jiva, behold the place where Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra's cottage was situated. Lord Ramachandra's friend Guhaka takes birth in Gaur Lila as Sadananda Bhattacharya. Rama Mitra Guhaka Prabhura Ichavashe Estane Janmilena Viprera Orase. By the will of the Lord, Śrī Ramachandra's friend Guhaka took birth here in a Brahmin family. Sadananda Vipra Bhattacharya Namatar Rama Bina Trijagate Nahi Jane Ar. In Gaur Lila, Guhaka was known as Sadananda Bhattacharya. He knew nothing in the three worlds but Sri Ram. Shri Sadananda Vipra was present at the yoga pit at the time of Srimad Mahaprabhu's presence. Jai Dina Prabhu Mor Janme Mayapure Shai Dina Sadananda Chilo Mishra Ghare. The day on which my Lord took birth in Mayapur, Sadananda Bhattacharya was also present in the house of Sri Jagannath Mishra. Sadananda Vipra recognizes the demigods. Prabhura Janama Kale Jata Devagan Mishra Bhavane Shishu Kore Darashan Parama Sadhaka Vipra Chine Devagane Janilo Amara Prabhu Janmilo Ekhane. At the time of Srimad Mahaprabhu's appearance, all the demigods assembled at Sri Jagannath Mishra's residence to take darshan of Sri Gaur Hari. The great devotee Brahman Sadananda Bhattacharya recognized the demigods, and seeing them offering prayers, he understood that his Lord had now descended. In his meditation, he sees Gaurachandra instead of Sri Ramachandra. Parama kotuka vipra ailo nija ghare ishta dhyane dekhe vipra gauranga sundare. Greatly pleased, the Brahmin returned to his home and began to meditate upon his worshipful deity, Sri Ramachandra. In his meditation, he had darshan of Sri Gauranga Sundar instead of Sri Ramachandra. Singhastane bosiyache Sri Gauranga Rai. Brahma Adi Devagan Chamara Dhulai. He saw Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu brilliantly seated upon a throne with Brahma and other demigods fanning him with a chamar. Sri Sadananda Bhattacharya attains knowledge of Bhagavat Tattva. Puna deke Ramachandra Durvadalasham Nikate Lakshmana Vira Shri Anatadham Vame Sita Samukhe Bhakata Hanuman Dekhiya Viprera Hoilo Prabhur Tattva Gyan. He again saw Sri Ramachandra, whose complexion resembles darkish newly sprouted grass. On the right side of Sri Ramachandra was Lakshman, on his left side Sita, and in front Bhakta Hanuman. Having seen all this, the Brahman understood the fundamental truth, the tattva of the Lord. Parama Anande Vipra Mayapure Giya Alakhe Gauranga Dekhe Nayana Bhoriya. Absorbed in ecstatic bliss, the Brahman went to Mayapur and, not seen by anyone, had darshan of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu to his heart's content. Dhanya ami bole bar bar Gaura rupe Ramachandra samukhe amar. The Brahman again and again thought, I am blessed, I am blessed. Sri Ramachandra is present as Sri Gaur Hari, right in front of my eyes. Sadananda Bhattacharya's dance during Sankirtan. Koto dine Sankirtana aramba hoilo. Sadananda Gaur boli tahate nachilo. After some time, when studied in Śrī Navadvīpa-dhāma-māhātmya, Sadananda also chanted the name of Gaur and danced in the kirtan party. Moda Drumadvip, Shri of Vraj. O he jiva estane Shri Bandiravan Nirmala bhakata gana kore darashan. O Jiva, devotees with spotless, uncontaminated hearts take darshan of Shri Bhandirvan at this place. She saba kata shuni nitya dhame heri. Nachena bhakata gana nityanande gheri. After hearing all these narrations and having had darshan of the eternal abode, the devotees surrounded Sri Nityananda Prabhu and began to dance. Shri Jivera ange hoy satvika vikar, ha gauranga boli jiva korina chitkar. Ecstatic symptoms arose upon the body of Shri Jiva, and he began loudly calling out, O Gauranga, O Gauranga. Shri Nityananda Prabhu takes rest at the residence of Shri Narayani Devi. Oh, cool. She grame she dina Narayani ghare, rahilena Nityananda prapula antare. That day, Shri Nityananda Prabhu, being exceedingly blissful, stayed in that village at Shri Narayani Devi's house. Is this Narayani Devi the niece of Srivas Pandit, I wonder? Parama pavitra sati vyasera, yes it is, vyasera janani, Shri Vaishnava gane seva korilo apani. That most pure and chaste Narayani Devi, who is also the mother of Vyas, personally served all the Vaishnavas. And there's a footnote here. The Vyas in Chaitanya Lila is Shri Vrindavan Das Ṭhākura. So she's the mother of the Vyas of Chaitanya Lila. Paradina prate sabe chalikoto dur, praveshila anayase Shri Vaikuntapur. Early the next morning, after walking some distance, everyone entered Shri Vaikuntapur. The author prays for his desired service. Nitai janava agya korite palan, nadiya mahatma gai, dina akinchan. For the sake of obeying the order of Shri Nityananda Prabhu and Shri Janava Devi, this wretched pauper, Shri Bhaktivinoda, sings the glories of Nadia. Thus ends chapter 14. I need to check why. Always in the Bengali, it's a long I in Nadia, but in the translation, it's a short I. Anyhow, that was really sweet reading today. Sweet pastimes. And so, tomorrow, we are going to be reading. Let's see. 1 second. Let me save this before I forget. Haribo, Rukmini Didi. Oh, and Raseshwari Mataji. Yes, there is a different timing. I announced it yesterday at the end. And I also posted on Facebook. But maybe I didn't. Oh, I forgot to post in our WhatsApp group. Really sorry about that. But yeah, just doing this Parikramā time, I'm starting early so that I don't join the Parikramā party way too late. Okay, Pradyumna Prabhu, no problem. So we're going to be reading, what is it? Tomorrow we're going to be reading about Shri Vaikuntapur, Mahatpur, or Kamyavan, the Kamyavan of Raj, Yudhishthir and Draupadi Kund, Shri Madhvacharya's arrival in Mahatpur, Shri Rudradvip, Shri Shankarpur, Shri Shankaracharya's arrival in Śrī Navadvīpa, Rudradvip, the place of the 11 Rudras, Shri Vishnu Swami's arrival in Śrī Navadvīpa, Paradanga, the place of Ras Lila, Shri Vanksivat, Shri Dhir Samir, and Shri Dhir Samir. That's all tomorrow. And we're getting close. Let's see, how much do we have left? Okay, so, oops. Okay, today is chapter 15. We only have this much left, just a little bit. Oops. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Rukmini Didi, I do not know of any broadcasts of the Sankalpa, no. I'm sure there are some people who are going live a lot. I'll have to find out. I mean, I think Sankalpa is probably already finished by now. They're probably already all on their way back. I'm just going to go to the Ganga on my own and do it by myself. Yeah, because everybody left just before I started reading. So. But yeah, if I find out people who are going live, I will share it with you. Alright, Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha-Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, yeah, so I'll share with you. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Antardip, Mayapur Simanta Deep, Godruma Deep, Shri Madhya Deep, Shri Kola Deep, Shri Ritu